Hello, Giants fans, and welcome to the Valentine's Views podcast. I'm your host, Ed Valentine of Big Blue View, and I'm coming to you on Tuesday, August 16th, as I sit here in a hotel in East Rutherford, New Jersey, waiting for the Tuesday practice of Giants training camp. Thought we would take a couple of minutes to talk about wide receiver Kenny Golladay. A lot of vitriol pointed toward Golladay these days. A lot of hatred sent his way. And listen, I understand it. Galladay's got a 4-year, $72 million contract, and in 2021, he didn't come close to living up to his end of that 4-year, $72 million deal. I certainly understand the frustration of Giants fans who look at a 37 catch, 521 yard season with no touchdowns and wonder, what in the world were the Giants thinking when they signed Kenny Golladay? But look, first of all, when we go back to the Golladay signing, I remember that the signing itself was lauded widely by a lot of draft analysts. Our own Mark Schofield broke down all of the different things that Golladay did in Detroit and felt that Golladay would be an outstanding weapon for Daniel Jones, felt that he would be a weapon that Jones could take advantage of in all different areas of the field, short, medium, and long. It simply didn't work out last year. And there's a few things that I want to talk about in relation to Golladay. The Giants cannot cut Kenny Golladay. Can't do it. No chance. Listen, if the Giants cut Kenny Golladay, they save 4.25 million in cap space, but they take a $25.4 million cap hit for the 2022 season. That's untenable. Can't do it. You can't cut a player and take a $25 million cap hit for doing it, especially a non-quarterback. You just can't do it. I mean, you can look at this contract and say it's a horrible contract. And it is a horrible contract in a lot of ways, simply because it was backloaded by Dave Gettleman and Kevin Abrams, who understood that they were putting themselves in a bind for 2022 and maybe for 2023 in terms of Golladay when they signed him. But they were all in to try to help Daniel Jones a year ago, to try to get him whatever he needed or whatever they felt they could get him to try and help him prove a year ago, that he could be the Giants quarterback of the future. And here we are. We still have that question a year later. We know the Golladay signing didn't work out the way that people have intended. And we've seen a couple of rough practices from Golladay. We've seen some good days. We really have. We've seen some good practices. Even Monday, when I was out at Quest Diagnostics, Giants did some one-on-one drills. There was a one-on-one deep shot down the right sideline with Golladay matched up against Aaron Robinson, where Robinson blanketed him, and the pass fell incomplete. A few snaps later, in another one-on-one rep with Golladay and Robinson, Golladay beat Robinson to the inside, for a nice catch across the middle. So, and I get it. We've seen some drops from Golladay through training camp. He didn't do much in the Fan Fest scrimmage. I know there was one day when a fan yelled, something about Golladay and $72 million and him not being worth it. And I understand it. The way that I look at Golladay, though, I mean, there was a comment at Big Blue View a few days ago calling Kenny Golladay a diva, and there's all sorts of other nasty things being said about Kenny Golladay. And the one thing that I want to say about Golladay is, look, Golladay is not a diva. Golladay is not a guy who is simply collecting his paycheck. Golladay is a guy who cares very, very much about this. Last year bothered Kenny Golladay. He spent most of the offseason in New Jersey working as much as he could with Daniel Jones, working out at the Giants facility, throwing, catching passes from Jones whenever possible. This is a guy who he's a stand-up guy. He always talks to the media when it's his turn to talk to the media. He doesn't blow guys off. He's always honest. He gives good answers. We're not in the locker room at this point. We will be in the fall, but my impression is that Kenny Golladay is a good teammate, guy who cares, guy who's a pro, guy who does what he's asked to do, what he needs to do. He just wasn't productive in his first year. Will he be productive in his second year? We don't know yet. I'm not going to write him off. I'm not going to look at Kenny Golladay and say he's Stephon Diggs. He's not 110, 120 catch guy. He's never going to be Julio Jones or Michael Thomas. Can he help this Giants team? Absolutely. I think he can help this Giants team. There are things he can do in the red zone. There are things he can do on third down. He's never going to be a burner who runs away from defensive backs and creates all kinds of separation. But as Brian Daboll says, when you're 6'3", 6'4", 215, 220, like Kenny Golladay is, and you're matched up against a cornerback who's 4 inches shorter than you and 30 or 40 pounds lighter, you're open, even if you're not open. Throw the ball up and try to make a play. That is what Kenny Golladay is getting paid for. He's not getting paid for shake and bake moves and making guys miss in the open field and all of that kind of stuff. He's getting paid to make contested catches down the field. He's getting paid to make plays in the red zone. He's getting paid to make plays on third down. We'll see if he can do that in 2022. I don't know. I'm not expecting him to be a great player, but really the biggest reason why I wanted to do this show today is that all of this diva stuff and all of this, Galladay's just showing up and collecting his paycheck stuff, that bothers me because it's simply not the case. I think this is a guy who cares very, very much about his team, about his performance, about winning and losing. So far, in 2021, it just didn't work. We'll see if it works in 2022. As I said, it's been a mixed bag so far in training camp, and we'll see how it plays out once we get to the regular season. But I just really wanted to clarify, my thoughts on Golladay. I think he's a pro. I think he's a stand-up guy. And I hate to see and I hate to hear some of the vitriol that gets tossed his way because the performance hasn't been there, but the attacks on his work ethic and the name calling, I just don't think is deserved, because I do think he's a stand-up guy who tries to give his best effort, whether it works out or not. All right, Giants fans, that's pretty much all I've got for you today. I'll be back out at Quest Diagnostics on Tuesday and probably one more time later in the week before the Giants face the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday in their second preseason game. So please be sure to stop by bigblueview.com, check out all of our Giants coverage. Please remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe there. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast application, please remember to subscribe to us there as well. All right, Giants fans, thank you for listening. Please remember to stay safe out there, take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.